Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to my podcast. A happier you leads to a healthier you. I also want to also include my YouTube channel, a happier and healthier recovery and healing channel. Now, a little bit about me. I am Asha Mariama, and I am a certified recovery, healing, and recovery coach. It's all about helping people on their paths and their journeys to a new and better you. I also have this podcast on iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, and multiple other streaming companies as well. Now, my YouTube channel is Healthier and Happy and Happier and Healthier Recovery and Healing. That's the name of my YouTube channel. Um, a little bit about what I do. I also am certified in addiction. I also help people on their paths and their journeys to a new and better you through self discovery. This particular podcast is about helping people on their journeys when it comes to health and wellness and giving you the honest truth when it comes to healing and recovery that a lot of people don't tell you. I'm telling you not only based on my education, but based on my own experience. Because when it comes to healing and recovery, it's not an easy journey. It's not. A lot of people want to make you feel like it is this real easy journey, but truth be told, it is not an easy journey as you might think. A lot of people think, oh, this journey is easy. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to do something on my TikTok, hit the wrong button. But anyway, people think that healing and recovery is about you losing weight, you reach your goals, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less to it. Um, when it comes down to healing and recovery, there are ups and downs. There are a lot of ups and downs when it comes to your health and wellness. There are a lot of pros and cons that you're going to go through. It's going to be a lot of, you'll lose 2 pounds and then you know, gain 50 pounds, so on and so forth. So it's not as easy as people think that it is because it's not. So I want people to understand that. So when it comes to these particular journeys, it's not as easy as people think it is. I really wish it was, but it's not. So I'm gonna bring TikTok in, and we're gonna have this conversation about the ups and downs of our health and wellness. So give me one second. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Welcome to my TikTok channel. Today we're going to be talking about health and wellness from the perspective of the ups and downs when it comes to health and wellness. Everything from weight loss to mental health, psychological health, when it comes to internal and external, when it comes down to your physical health. We're going to talk about the ups and downs when it comes to that, the health and wellness journey, weight loss journey, mental health journey, all of that. But we're also going to talk about it from the purpose of your self esteem, self worth, and self value. So we're also going to add with self respect leads to self love because I think these two podcasts go together when it comes to this. So let's get into it. I have been struggling with my weight for a very long time. Ever since 1998, when I had my son, I have been struggling with my weight. I have been dealing with trying to deal with medical issues in 2012 and 2016. I couldn't walk. Don't know why. To this day, I don't know why, but I think I'm starting to figure out why. Because when I sit down on a couch or on a bed for a long period of time, I can't stand up straight. So it could be the cyst that's on my abdomen, and I don't have no idea how long it's been there. The hospital suggests that I have it removed, but my doctor doesn't know if it can be removed. So I may have to get a second opinion. I also been having throat issues lately, and the EMTs claim they can't find anything, but I think that it's either a mass or either it's a gland that is swollen that's causing this particular issue. Now, what I will say is this here. When it comes down to your health and wellness, a lot of it got to do with also what you consume. So if I wanted to, I could put this on you are what you consume and acknowledge what you are what you consume that as well. But here's the thing. Anybody that tell you that losing weight is gonna be easy, anybody that tells you that maintaining that is gonna be easy, they lying to you. Anybody that tells you that there's one way to lose weight, the lie detector determines that will be a lie. Because there are multiple different ways to lose weight. If you're somebody that has cancer, if you're somebody that has leukemia, how do you keep it from coming back? You went through all of this to be cancer free, and now it done came back. Or it's spread. If you look at Chad Boseman, for example, and what happened to him, he had colon cancer. They got rid of it, and then it came back. So why is it that they get rid of the cancer and then it comes back? So that's one of the things we got to ask ourselves. It's just like the common cold, just like the plague, just like monkeypox, just like when it comes down to chickenpox. People just tell you only can get chickenpox once, but yet you get chickenpox and shingles more than one time. There are people that had chickenpox more than once. So here's what the problem is. Even when it comes to depression and anxiety, you can get over the anxiety and the depression, but then it comes right back. Well, now we have to ask ourselves, why is this happening? Why is it when we get over something, when it comes to illnesses, diseases, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to losing our jobs, the rug is always pulled from up under us? You may have a hernia surgery, and then all of a sudden it comes back again. You have another hernia, and you don't know where it came from. You lost 20 pounds, and then you go through a bad relationship, and then you gain it right back. You go through a really bad divorce, but you're still dealing with the same type of people. And you keep going through the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So before we start talking about what needs to be done to lose weight, or health and wellness wise, what needs to be done, we need to figure out that if we do all of these things, is this going to continue to happen? Are we going to continue to go through these issues of health and wellness to a point of where it keeps coming back? That's going to be the question here. Because a lot of people have overcome a lot of stuff, and then they're right back where they started. A lot of people become rich and famous, end up broke. So now you have to ask yourself, why is it that people who make it, who get through something, go right back to it? So it isn't just about doing all of these things to lose weight. It's not just about doing all these things to get rid of cancer. How do we maintain it is the question. So a lot of people can tell you how to lose weight. They can tell you about fasting. They can tell you about not having sugar and that sugar is the problem. But I found out it ain't even that. The problem is the chemicals that when the food goes to the manufacturing company and they manufacture these foods with these chemicals that keep food lasting longer, the chemicals they put on fertilizer is why we're sick. We have chlorine in our food that ain't supposed to be there. We have all these different chemicals. Half of them we can't even pronounce. Not only are they in food, they're also in makeup. They're also in car products. They're also in other products that you're using on your skin. So the first thing that you have to do is, if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to have to cook from scratch. You're going to stop going out to eat. You got to stay away from the frozen food section unless it's exactly what it is. So if you're getting frozen vegetables, you're getting frozen vegetables. Water, if it says bleach or any chloride, don't get it, because you ain't supposed to be drinking chloride. If you see any chemicals that are in food that you can't pronounce, look it up, see what the side effects are, and if those side effects are something that has any side effects, don't mess with it. Nothing. Get you a book that has a bunch of home remedies in it, like the ones they got on the TikTok shop. So you want to get something that if you have a common cold, you can get stuff out your cabinet, come up with some nice antibiotics, and you'll be able to make your own. You may have to start making your own noodles. When you go to the grocery store, look at what's in the actual foods. So if you want noodles, I would recommend chickpea noodles, lentils noodles, wheat noodles. If you get sugar, I would recommend monk fruit sweeteners. I would recommend unbleached flour, unbleached sugar. If you can drink coconut water, if you can drink almond milk, cashew milk, almond flour. If you can eat nuts, then those would be the best ones. If you cannot eat nuts because you're allergic, then I recommend recommend wheat flour. So when you're talking about your health and wellness, it's more than just dieting and exercise. It's more than that. Because here's the thing that I learned from somebody who has chronic pain. When you're talking about exercise is not to lose weight. It's for your muscles. It keeps your muscles active so you won't have arthritis. You won't have chronic pain. Does it assist with losing weight? Yes. But that's not what's going to make you lose weight. What's going to make you lose weight and maintain it is, number one, fasting. If you fast for 12 to 16 hours. Some people will do that, and then they might do 24 hours, 3 days of fasting. Number two, your portion control of how much you eat. Also, you need to think about the fact of going to the doctor and finding out, as far as a colonoscopy, do you have any damage to your stomach? Checking your gallbladder, checking if you have your uterus still, checking to see if you don't have any thyroid issues, you don't have any hernia issues, intestinal issues, if you don't have any polyps. So those can also cause you to gain weight. Parasites, bacteria, they can cause you to gain weight. The one thing that parasites and bacteria love more than anything, they really do love fat. They love fat. And as long as you have fat, parasites can hide behind it. Not only that, they can cause a lot of damage that you can't see and you can't feel. So when you like 40 years old and you go get a colonoscopy and they tell you you have colon cancer. But see, here's the thing, when you go to the doctor, before I finish that, when you go to the doctor, they don't test you for any of this stuff. They don't test you for cancer. They just do a routine checkup. But you don't go and get a full MRI. You don't go get a full cancer scan. They don't do none of that. And then they say now when you go get your breast checked on that machine, it's even worse. So you can go to Turkey, pay $1,100 and get blood work done on everything. It will tell you everything that is wrong with you. MRIs, CT scans. They even do the thing where you run on the machine. I mean, they literally do everything. They test for everything. And then they'll tell you everything that's wrong. And if you need to have surgery, they will go ahead and do the surgery while you're there. But let me tell you why a lot of people are dying because of plastic surgery. A lot of people think plastic surgery is the answer. Gastro bypass, liposuction, tummy tucks. They think all of these things are going to help you. In other words, a fast way of doing something. James got fair and I want what I want and I want it now. So instead of you doing the exercise, you just feel like, oh, I'm just going to go and I'm just going to go get liposuction, gastric bypass, and a tummy tuck, and that's going to solve my problem. Well, see, here's the thing. When you get that done, you ain't supposed to be moving for 6 weeks. But the fact that you turn around and get in a car a day or two after you had this surgery is why most of these people dying. Because you ain't supposed to be moving. But yet these doctors do not keep you in the hospital for about a week or two so you to heal and then go home. No, they're not going to keep you in that long. Even when you have a surgery, you go to an inpatient, you stay for, maybe a day or two, then you're going home. So are you really supposed to leave the hospital within a day or two? No. But yet they send you home after 24 hours after having an outpatient surgery. So at the end of the day, if they've done any type of surgery on you, that's why they tell you, make sure somebody with you so that way you ain't home by yourself. So I just want people to understand that, yeah, you eating fruits and vegetables and doing all of this, it's good. It helps. But whatever it is you did to lose that weight, whatever you did to get rid of cancer, you better continue. You better continue whatever it was you did. Even when it comes to mental health, whatever you did to get over depression, you better maintain that. Whatever you did to get over your trauma, you better maintain that. So you can't slack off when it comes to your health and wellness. If you want a longevity, health and wellness, you can't slack off. You can't. You cannot slack off when it comes down to this. So yeah, you have to come up with a schedule. You gotta, whatever you bought, you're gonna have to actually do. There's something I'm trying to do now. Then also spiritual, you got 3 demons that will stand in the way of you actually achieving your goals. 3 that will keep you from you achieving the things you want to achieve. Because here's the thing. It's not just about working a regular 9-to-5 job. It's not just about that. It's also about the fact that you got to work hard to be able to be the best versions of yourself. Not only that, you got to say to yourself, this ain't about me losing weight because I'm trying to get a man. That part. I'm not going through all of this just to go through all of it again. No, the goal is to not go through it again. To not put yourself in the predicament of where you're going backwards. So if you think that these easy liposuction, tummy tucks, gastric bypass, is going to be the easiest. Yes, the easiest way to do it. But there are people that done it and they gained the weight right on back. Why? Because they didn't maintain what they did to lose the weight in the first place. You got people that's 600 pounds that go get that gastric bypass and pass away 4 or 5 years later because they had other complications that after they had the surgery, they didn't know they had. You had people that have went to doctors every single month, went to doctors every 30 days. And then they go to the hospital and they find out they only have 2 weeks to live because they have stage 4 cancer that was never looked at. So again, you have a lot of doctors that do not know how to treat you. You have a lot of doctors that are misdiagnosing, and the first thing they want to do is give you medications. That's the first thing they want to do, give you medications. But they won't, for the life of you, tell you about nutrition. They don't tell you about what you need to do and what you need to look for to be healthy. No, they don't tell you none of that. All they're telling you is go to the gym. But there are a lot of women that go to the gym 5 days a week and cannot lose no weight. And then people taking Ozempic. My sister took Ozempic. She lost a lot of weight. But here's the problem though. Can she maintain it if she gets off the Ozempic? You're not even supposed to be on Ozempic. Ozempic is for diabetics. But yet you got people using it to lose weight when that's not even what it's for. So this is why I say the natural way is the better way. Instead of you going and taking cough medicine, make your own cough medicine. If you can avoid taking antibiotics, then do your best. I got a book right here I'm looking at. And this book basically has everything in here from cinnamon infusions for blood pressure, heart harmony elixir. You have garlic and lemon for cholesterol management, hibiscus tea for cardiovascular, beetroot and anonia juice for circulation health, blood vessel care. So you have all of these different recipes in here that help with multiple different things, from metabolism to mobility. So they have one for mobility maintenance. So let's go to 176. Let's see. How do you know which one it is? 176. I wish I knew how to find these. 176. Okay, here it is. This it. I'm trying to make sure I'm on the right page. Give me a second. Okay, this one's for joint pain relief. Based on this book, you got 3 tablespoons of granite beeswax, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, 1.5 cups of peppermint leaves, infused oil, 30 drops of mint essential oil, and 15 drops of spearmint essential oil. This also gives you the instructions of how to make it. If you might even add something else to this. If you're allergic, you can always find something else that will help with joint pain. Mobility maintenance. This one is 3-part devil claw, 1 part turmeric, 1 part ginger, 1 part willow bark, 1 part boswellia. I've never heard of that. A pinch of pepper, and 80 proof alcohol of vodka and brandy. So you make these and you'll feel 150% better. So you can find different things that will work. You got confetti and lavender, better than collagen. So it's just finding these particular, you know, whatever the ingredients is and where to find them. And you can make these and they will help you on your journey of feeling better. So you can even make your own toothpaste, antibiotics. Um, so there are different types: aloe vera and cucumber mixed, millberry. This helps with enhanced vision and circulation to the eyes. I need this right here. So it also tells you where you can drink it or whether you just put it on where it wants to go. So again, there are ways. They even have where you can even make your own eye drops. So again, it's important that you invest in yourself. So instead of spending all this money on houses and cars and all of these things, you should be investing in your health and wellness. You should be investing in your self-esteem, self-worth, and self-value, because all of that is based on your health and wellness. If you feel good health-wise, you're going to feel good mentally. If you feel good mentally, you'll feel good physically. If you feel good psychologically, you'll feel good physically. They all go hand in hand. So when you are talking about health and wellness, it's just important that you understand at the end of the day, it should be about peace. But what happened is we have set up here and let social media rule our lives. First thing we do, we get up, we pick up a phone. Instead of getting up, exercising, we pick up a phone. There's nothing wrong with checking your emails. Nothing wrong with it at all. You want to check your emails, by all means you should. But put your phone down. Unless you're ordering something, then that's one thing, because sometimes I do that. I'll be ordering stuff, and then I'm like, I'm not going to pull the trigger on it. But then I think about it. It's my health and wellness, and that's what's important. So I just want people to understand that I get it. I understand. Trust and believe. I get it. But what I will say in these journeys, they're not easy. If you think these health and wellness journeys are easy, no, they're not. Because even if you get through it, that don't mean that you're not going to get another curveball. Don't mean you're not going to end up in the emergency room. It's just like when it comes to your emotional health. That's another thing. Emotions will mess you up too. That'll mess up your health and wellness. If you don't learn emotional intelligence and learn the 120 different types of emotions that they are, you are going to be screwed. If you don't learn to stop giving people power because of what comes out their mouth, if you don't learn rejection, if you don't learn that there will be times that you will be alone and it just be you and God, if you don't learn that not everybody going to accept you, not everybody going to like you, not everybody going to appreciate you, not everybody going to love you, then you should be good. But the fact that you want these things so bad, you are damaging yourself physically when you're consuming things and you don't even know what you're consuming. You don't even know why you're consuming it. You're just consuming something that you don't even know why you're consuming it. That affects your health and wellness. When you're sitting up here thinking, oh, exercise is the only answer. No, it ain't. Because you can gain that weight back. You can go through one situation with your current situation, gain all that weight back. Because here's the thing, it's not about losing weight. It isn't about getting a nice house or being successful. It's not about building your self-esteem for other people. It's about whatever you did, you got to maintain that. It's about maintaining your success, maintaining a good marriage, maintaining raising your kids. So you got to think about the stress levels, and if I do this, how is is this going to cause me stress? How is this going to impact and affect my life? So again, there are some people that can't work out because they have chronic pain and they're hurting so bad. So guess what they got to do? They have to fast and lose weight naturally. There are people that are losing weight naturally. And no, it's not as fast as Ozempic or dietary, but they're losing weight. There are people that go to the gym and they're like, I didn't lose any weight. That's because you went and ate all the pounds you just worked off. So if you go to the gym and you go for a walk and you turn around and eat all them calories you just consumed, just got right back in your system. So I don't recommend anybody exercising until after you eat. So if you eat, then go work out. And then the last end of the day, work out. Go for a walk, exercise. That way you can say, okay, I done worked out everything I just ate. If you need to write down everything that you ate, how many calories it is, and you know how much calories you need to lose. If you fast for 12 to 16 hours, you're going to lose weight. But if you turn around and you eat right after I don't care what it is. If you go and eat anything that got calories, you're going to mess around and put all them calories right back. Because you do not lose as much calories as you think. Because for every 1 pound, it is 3,500 calories. You got to lose 3,500 calories for 1 pound. And you may not do that in a workout. You may only lose 350,000. You may lose 8,000 calories. So if it's 3,500 calories per pound, then you ain't really doing much exercising, then are you? No, you're not. You're not. So does it benefit to lose weight? Yes, it does. But if you turn around and you eat more than what you burnt, and you don't know how many calories you lost, then no, you ain't gonna lose no weight. You ain't gonna lose no weight at all. And if you turn fat into muscle, that's a good thing, but it ain't got nothing to do with weight. If you turn fat into muscle, you're still gonna be the same weight. You just turn fat into muscle, but you're still the same weight, because if you look at a lot of bodybuilders, they're still the same weight. They just turn their fat into muscle. So then not only that, if you don't keep fat and you work out, you're going to start losing muscle. Why? Because now you're burning muscle and not fat. So it's a little bit complicated, but it just is what it is. So what I would say to people is there's nothing wrong with turning your fat into muscle, but you still going to have to eat carbs. Because if you continue to work out and you continue using the weights, it's going to start burning muscle, and that's not good because it has no more fat to burn. That's why some people, when their body turns into muscle, they'll maintain it, meaning they'll go work out, but they won't do the extreme workouts that they used to do before they started burning muscle. So even a lot of bodybuilders, the only time they really do those extreme workouts is when they have a competition. Other than that, it's really about maintaining it, honestly. Maintaining those muscles and making sure those muscles they build the muscle, they maintain it. But they're not going to do the extreme weights that they used to do before they went through that process. So if you're someone that has a six pack, or you went and you turned your fat in your stomach into muscle, then all you got to do is maintain it. You don't have to work out as hard as somebody is trying to lose weight. Somebody that's trying to lose weight, they are trying to lose the weight. So yeah, their workouts are going to be harder. Whereas a person that's toning their body, they may do walking, they may do some weights, they may, do exercise, running exercises. Their weight loss plan is going to be different. Their exercise plan is going to be different. Why? Because they may work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes and be good. Whereas somebody like myself, I may have to work out for an hour to an hour and a half. If I'm somebody that's never worked out, I would recommend nobody doing a 30-minute exercise and you ain't never worked out. I would never recommend that. I would never say to somebody who's never worked out, go work out and work out for 30 minutes. No, I recommend a 10-minute workout. And then gradually push yourself to 30 minutes to about an hour. Not only that, I recommend a treadmill. I recommend one of them rowing machines. I recommend before you start trying to walk 10,000 steps, just walk from here to the building and walk back until you get tired. Some people can't even make it to the end of the street without getting tired. So every day you just walk from here to the street and walk back. Walk up and down the steps every day. Some people can't even make it all the way down the steps. Because when I started having pain in my side, yeah, I can get down the steps, but coming back up them steps, my heart rate will be accelerating so bad I'd be scared I'm having a heart attack. And one day I did go to the hospital because I was taking the trash out. And the next thing I know, my heart started accelerating and I ended up in the hospital. So that can happen. So another thing too, a lot of people don't know is your heart rate. And the fact that your heart rate is used to a certain heart rate. If you overdo it, you having a heart attack or a stroke. That's like people that when they have sex, they die. They have a heart attack while they're having sex. That's because your heart rate ain't used to moving so fast. Your body panics. That's where anxiety comes from. Your body panics because you're doing something your body's not used to. You're introducing your body to something and it doesn't know what it is. So when it comes down to starting to work out, get you a heart rate monitor. Keep track of that. That way, if you're walking up and down these steps and your heart rate is accelerating, sit down. Let your body slow down. Don't just keep trying to exercise and your heart rate. Don't do it. You're going to end up in the hospital. I myself did that. So, you know what I'm saying? So don't overdo something that you've never done before. Start out slow and ease your way to doing something faster. Don't go in there and just start doing Zumba and you ain't never done Zumba before. Don't start doing dance exercises and you've been sitting on your butt for 20 years. Don't even start there. Just start with simple step exercises. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you can't do the exercise, just walk in place. If you can't do it, walk in place. Do what you can. Don't feel bad because some of these exercises you can't do. When you go to the gym, just start off with a slow walk on that treadmill. And then gradually move it up 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Go and do some of the lifts on the machines. And when it comes to weights, don't try to do the ones that the smaller people are doing. Start slow and work your way up. And don't feel bad because you can't only do but 5 or 10 minutes. That is okay. That is still an accomplishment. It is still an accomplishment. Until you get used to working out, then say, okay, now I can do this. But don't push yourself to the point you are in a hospital with a heart attack. Your body is not used to doing these new things. You have to slowly introduce yourself to something new. Matter of fact, one of the things that I learned that I had to do for anxiety, I had to literally speak out loud. I have to tell my body, this is what we're doing today. We're going to get up, get in that car, and we're going to drive. Real talk. This started in 2017. Well, the beginning of 2018. I just did a podcast about Adam and Eve. And I had left and went to go pick my mama up. Hit the back of my neck, got in the car, and went home. Well, I had a panic attack out of nowhere. And at first, I thought it was nothing. Kept on driving. It happened again. I said, well, I'm almost home. I'll get home. Oh, no. That thing got worse. I felt like I was having a heart attack. So I pulled over, sat for a second, got home, and I said, well, if it gets worse, I'm going to the emergency room. Luckily, it stopped. Got in the car, couldn't even get down to out my neighborhood. I started having a panic attack. Every time I drove, I had a panic attack. Didn't know why. Didn't know why it was happening. So one of the reasons it was happening is because I'm inside a lot. I'm allergic to bees, so I can't really be outside. And then wintertime, I have chronic pain, so it's kind of hard for me to be outside. So during the day, unless I go out and I'm going to the mall somewhere, just to go sit in my backyard, I can't do that because we have wasps, and the wasps keep coming back over here. They had to get down all of the wasps because I'm highly allergic to bees and wasps. So I can't really be outside like that. But when I was indoors, that ain't good either. That's not good for your eyes. You need light. Even if you open your blinds, you still need to be outside. So this happened off and on, even to this day. Then they told me the reason it happened was the glasses that I had got made it so I was having tunnel vision. And my eyes were not connected to my brain. That part. So even though I mentally was fine, but because my eyes were in so much pain, my body panicked. Like, why are you hurting? So the body doesn't know why you're hurting. Anytime the body feels pain, it panics. It panics. So physical anxiety is different than mental anxiety. They're not the same. Physical anxiety can be you driving, and because your back hurts, or because you don't get enough sleep, or because you're on social media and that Blu-ray, your eyes are hurting. You've been in front of a screen for 8 hours, then get in the car and drive. So because your eyes are hurting, your body panics, and then you have to pull over. So when you don't get enough sleep, you also have anxiety. So when you looking at screens all day for 8 hours, and then turn around and get in the car and drive, you may have anxiety while you driving. That's why some people end up falling asleep on the road. So these are things that you wouldn't think that has anything to do with anxiety, but it does. The last time I drove, I was good until my body started stiffening up. And then it started happening again. When I first got in the car, I had a little bit of anxiety, but my mom was in the car with me, and I drove for a good little while. But when we got on our way home, these glasses that I got are not the original glasses that I had. I had an anxiety attack. I had to pull over. My mama had to drive. So again, anxiety is not just mental. It can be physical because there is something wrong. So I have to get in the car and tell my body, look, we got this. I need to go from here to Walmart. I need to go from here to here. And then I have to keep telling myself out loud, not silently, out loud. I got this. I got this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I got this. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. And as long as I kept saying that, my body started calming down. Why? Because my mind is telling my body, look, it's going to be okay. When your mind and your body are not connected, your body is going to panic. Your mind is not going to know what your body does or what it's going through because you're focused on everything else. But you're not focused on how your body feels. You're not focused on what you consume and how it's going to impact your body. How what you consume or what spirits you bring into your life is going to impact and affect you physically. How your emotions and the choices you make based on that are going to impact your life. So in healing and recovery, it's about understanding how your emotions, how the mind and the body not being connected, by you not researching before you make any decisions, if you're not weighing the pros and cons of something, if you don't understand your morals, your values, your principles, and your ethics, your critical thinking, common sense, and common judgment, if you don't understand the consequences, repercussions, and karma, then yes, you will have anxiety. So mental anxiety is the same thing. Mental anxiety is a bunch of damage mentally that you have done to yourself, and now you're afraid mentally because mentally you've been damaged. Depression, anxiety, all of that comes from damage. And that all comes from the battle between the mind and emotions. Your mind can say, don't go back. Don't mess with that person. Your intuition can be telling you that. But because you want what you want, James Scott Farron, I want what I want it now, you're willing to go against what your mind is telling you for your emotions because you want to feel good. Do you not know that feelings are an action? So guess what those feelings are based on? Your five senses. Your five senses is what your feelings are based on. Because if you hear something, smell something, taste something, touch something, and smell something, and you don't like it, guess what you do? React to it. But when it comes to your behavior, that is based on how something said to you or physically done, how you react to it. So it's not as simple as y'all may think when it comes to your health and wellness. Sometimes you got to let your mind take over. Sometimes you got to say, even though I feel a certain way, nope. That's like, what's between your legs? Oh, it talks. What's between your legs got feelings too. Majority of y'all don't even know what either one of them really wants. I figured it out because, I had to learn. I studied Kama Sutra. I love Kama Sutra. I sure do. I love Kama Sutra. Y'all don't understand. I didn't study nothing from the United States. That's the funny thing about all of this. I've never taken on the American culture. That's why I'm so intelligent. Because I've studied multiple different cultures and multiple different ways that they stay healthy and multiple different ways that some countries give their people work-life balances. So why is it that in the beginning of time, people didn't work like this, and yet they lived to 1,000 years? We have an easy life, and yet we don't live past 40. We don't live past 100. But yet our lives are easier than the beginning of time. Adam and Eve. All these different people that live to 1,000 years, but yet we can't live past 100. Why is that? Well, it's simple. You got a bunch of people that are playing God with your life. That's why. Y'all are seeing it every day when it comes to certain things, and I ain't gonna talk about right now. So when you got people playing God with your life, playing God with your health, when you go to the doctor's office and you go for the first time and they don't do a bunch of tests, they don't do an MRI, CT scan, blood work, if they don't go and do a cancer scan off the rip, these doctors could catch it if we had free healthcare. If we had free healthcare, you can go in there and get all them tests done. There are countries that when you first go to the doctor, they run every single solitary test on you and will tell you everything that is wrong with you. Everything. They will tell you naturally how to heal yourself. They don't give you antibiotics. No, matter of fact, I take that back. They give you antibiotics, but they give you antibiotics that are from natural herbs. There are healing herbs I've never heard of that are grown in other countries that heal people. I mean, if you want to talk about Dr. Sabi healed not only HIV but herpes. And yet and still, the FDA won't approve it. There are 3 doctors in Africa that have found cures for multiple different types of cancer that the FDA will never approve of. You would have to go to Africa to go get it. You would have to go out of the country to go get treated. A friend of mine does documentaries, and they went to Mexico, and they had stage 4 cancer, came back with no cancer at all, and didn't even do chemo. They didn't have to do chemo at all. All they had to do was change their diet, eat healthy, and work out, and they were cancer free. They didn't have to do no chemo, nothing. Nothing. So is it possible that chemo is making it worse when it comes to cancer? Is the reason that cancer is spreading because we, instead of leaving it alone, we decide to go get chemo and then it spreads because it gets worse? Let me break down something about pain. Pain, once it enters your body, does not go away. Pain only moves. It moves. So if you have an infection and you treat it, it don't mean it's not going to come back. It's just like if you remove your gallbladder, there's a lot of foods you can't eat no more. And if you go back to eating them foods, guess what? You're going to have an infection in your stomach. If you have a hernia and you keep getting hernias, then there's a reason the hernias keep happening. And you got to figure out why. If you keep getting polyps and they're not cancerous, and the doctor's telling you it don't need to be removed, but yet it's causing you pain, go get you a second opinion. If not, go to an out-of-country doctor. They'll do it. They'll do the surgery for you. Just stay there for 2 weeks to heal. Stay there for 2 weeks to heal. Don't just try to fly back after you just had surgery. Don't do that. It's one thing if you going home and you're going home. I don't even recommend trying to walk up the steps if you just had surgery. Just go home and get on your couch. If you have surgery, make sure somebody gonna be there at least about 2 weeks to make sure you're good. So at the end of the day, health and wellness is not just about exercising, not just about dieting. It's about mentally understanding that no matter what you go through, that you are still living on this planet, that you still here. What's important is that you don't let negative people break your self-esteem, self-worth, and self-values, because that's also a reason why you're not healthy. When you don't feel good about yourself mentally, your body's impacted by that. Because then you stop caring about your body. So when you don't feel good about yourself, guess what? You ain't gonna do nothing because of fear. Your insecurities. Where does that come from? You not thinking you're good enough. And guess what? Them three little demons, the ones that be messing with people, those demons are going to feed off that. The fact that you don't think you're good enough. So when your mom and them tell you you ain't good enough, look at them and say, I don't care. When people tell you, I don't want to be with you no more, okay, cool. You ain't got to. So all I'm saying to y'all is you ain't got to sit up here and listen to people. But I get it though. I do. I get it. It's hard not to. It's hard to feel good about yourself when everybody is tearing you down. So don't get it twisted. I get it. I absolutely get it. But the one thing about your self-esteem, self-worth, and self-value, it is based on how you feel about yourself. But does that impact your health and wellness? Yes. Your self-esteem, self-worth, self-value, self-respect, self-confidence, you believing in yourself when nobody does, it does. The fact that you want to be loved, liked, appreciated, valued, wanted, needed, to be a part of something, to be validated, to be approved of, to be accepted, for somebody to know your worth, to know your value. Trust and believe. That is what's going to cause damage. Because what you're willing to do to prove something to people, the fact that you at a party and you're drinking alcohol, the fact that you're wearing makeup, knowing that makeup causes damage. That's why when these women get older, they have to do Botox. That's why most of these girls, I'm 51 and I look younger than these females that wear makeup. Wearing them heels that you ain't supposed to be wearing. All of that affects your health. But I'm going to share my screen right quick because I'm going to show y'all this video about, well, some of y'all can listen to it, but on here, I'm going to show y'all this video about this particular video. I'm gonna let y'all listen to on TikTok, and for those of y'all, hold on, let me pull it up if it let me. Okay, here we go. This video here is about the three demons that make you procrastinate, that break your self-esteem, self-worth, and self-values. They do all of that. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to. Hold on. Hopefully it'll let me do it. Okay, hold on. So I'm gonna play this video right quick. It might be kind of a little mixture of this. Okay. This one is about the three demons that basically essentially make you have insecurities, make you lazy, that they're the reason you can't move, the reason that you can't achieve your goals, the reason why you have fears, doubts, and why you can't move forward. Let's take a listen. If it press play. Can you press play? Oh well, now it's not gonna press play. Hold on. Why is it not? That's one thing about this. If you do it on here, that's why I miss my old computer. Hold on. Let me go ahead and finish up on, because some reason on here it's not gonna let me play it. I don't know why it's not letting me play it, but it won't let me play it for some. I was just playing it a second ago. All right, I'm just gonna not worry about it because for some reason, I'm pressing the play button, but it's not playing for some reason. So I don't know what it is about the sharing thing on StreamYard, but it's not working. But on TikTok, I'm gonna let y'all hear it, and then I might just post this video over here. But like I said, when it come down to the ups and downs, there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. That is life. You're gonna have ups and downs. But the question is, are you gonna come off your throne? Are you going to, after everything you have done to heal yourself, to recover from all of these past experiences, all the current situations that you're dealing with, to go right back to chaos? Are you going to sit up there and continue to deal with the same people, stay in the same environment, or are you going to move forward, moving forward? Because that's what it's about, moving forward. And you keep moving forward. You don't sit up here and because you're attracted to somebody, that doesn't mean they're attracted to you. Just because you want something doesn't mean it's meant for you to have it. Just because you chase behind somebody doesn't mean that that's your person. You holding on to somebody that you should have let go of a long time ago. But guess what? While you sitting up here holding on to that person, there's a particular type of time that we don't talk about. And that is lifetime. Now, y'all look at the clock and you see 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what you see. But what you don't seem to understand is that 24 hours, that 7 days a week is not the time I'm referring to. The time that I'm referring to, if you've ever seen Nickelback's video, I forgot the name of it. There's this thing where you see this square like clock and it's moving. And when you're dead, it stops moving. Now, mind you, when I was in the hospital, I thought about that clock. That's the clock that I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about the 24 hours, 7 days a week. I'm thinking about the clock where I close my eyes and I ain't no longer here. That clock trunks that 24-hour clock, my life clock. You know how you say that biological clock is ticking? Well, guess what? That's the clock I'm referring to. That biological clock is not just about, and this is the part that really upsets me, that we have allowed people to do. Biological clocks are not to be rushed. Y'all need to stop rushing. Even if you rush, you're still going to get there. You're still going to get there if you rush. But see, the only reason you rush is because you didn't leave on time. If you'd have left an hour early, you probably would have got there on time. So if you want to talk about the tortoise and the hare and that aspect of it, it's exactly that. So you can sit there and breeze through and try to get there faster. But guess what? If you leave an hour early, aka the tortoise, you can still gonna get there in time. So if you leave an hour early, you're gonna be almost at work before that traffic hit. So if you somebody that works at 6 o'clock, you leaving 5 o'clock in the morning. You're not gonna be in that 5 o'clock traffic because you get off at 2. If you work from 5 o'clock to 1:30, you ain't gonna be in. You're not gonna be in there because you get off in time before 5 o'clock traffic. So if you say, okay, let's say 2 o'clock, sometimes 2, 3 o'clock can be packed in some places. Either way, you're gonna get there, whether you leave an hour early or whether you leave on time. You still gonna get there. It's just the person that left an hour early ain't gonna be stuck in traffic unless there's an accident. That person that left an hour early is still gonna get there. If anything, they're gonna get there early. Why? Because they left an hour early. The person that left 30 minutes is not gonna get there. They're gonna get there on time, but they're gonna be rushing. But the person that left an hour early probably was going to get there by 45 after. Have time to get up, go make some coffee. Even have time to go get something to eat before they go to work and sit at their desk and work. The person that basically goes and has lunch and goes to the closest place around their job, or they ordered their food before they went to lunch, more than likely is going to be able to enjoy their lunch more so than the person that just went in there, ordered something when they went to lunch. The person that went and brought their lunch is probably going to have a more enjoyable lunch than the person that did not bring lunch, that didn't order anything, that just goes and the lines are around the door. Or they didn't have Uber Eats or DoorDash to deliver it. So you can schedule DoorDash to bring your food. So if you schedule them to bring it right when you go to lunch, then guess what they're going to do? If you schedule it the night before or that morning, then whoever it is will go pick up your stuff and they'll bring it to you. It will be there by the time you go to lunch. Even if you go to lunch later, you can still go downstairs and go get it. All you got to do is tell them, look, I got to run downstairs and go get my lunch. And they'll go get it. Or if you know you're going to have a meeting that's within your lunchtime, you can always change it. So that's why I said, just because you rushing something, just because you want something, doesn't mean that it's worth having. Just because people tell you that you got to work to 65, do you really? No, you don't. Because at the end of the day, you have other options. But the reason why people want to strip you of your options, the reason why people want to break you, the reason why people want to lower you and make you feel less than what you are, so that way you can build them up. So all your talent is going towards somebody else who don't have the talent. So let's break it down from companies. They sit up here and they hire people to do these jobs. The managers don't do these jobs. Some of them don't. You have some managers that actually do the jobs and they will get in there and they will help. But for the most part, they're doing paperwork. But guess what? There's an owner of that company that is sitting in his nice office. Matter of fact, now they're not even in the office no more. These rich and wealthy people are not in the office. They are at home. They are on vacation. Do you know what they do? They have meetings. Look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is president. Where is he at? He is out there playing golf. When you see Congress, that is what rich people do. They're in meetings. That's it. For 8 hours. And matter of fact, they're not even meetings for 8 hours. Some of these meetings are on vacation. Some of these meetings, they in the Bahamas somewhere. That's why you have a CEO, you have a president, you have a vice president. You got all of these different people that are doing all of these things. What person knows how to run a register that owns Walmart? They don't know how to run no register. They're not doing the stocking. But guess what? They getting paid off you. They're getting paid off you. You're not getting 100% of nothing. And every dime that you get go right back into somebody else's pocket. It goes right back to somebody else's pocket. So you get paid. You don't spend your money on what you want to spend your money on. You are spending money on stuff that should be free. You spending money on groceries. You spending money on bills. You spending money on a car payment. You spending money on kids. So if you don't understand the whole reason they want y'all to have kids, if you don't understand the whole reason they want you to be married, and why they're pushing this agenda of being alone means there's something wrong with you. No, it ain't, because I've been alone for 7 years. That is a lie. When you alone, you can get up and do what you want to. When your kids are grown, you can get up and do what you want to. Why you think these kids asking, why is it that my generation ain't babysitting kids? Because we had y'all when we were kids. We had y'all when we were between the age of 8 years old to 22. That's why. We didn't get to have an adult life. So if you want to know why grandparents are not watching their grandkids, because when they were kids, they got pregnant. So don't get it twisted. And this is what recovery gets you to discover. How do I keep 100% of what I have and not have to put it nowhere? Oh, there's a way to do it, but I'm not going to talk about it on here. So what I learned is, and that's how I learned, it's not about what you want, it's about what you need. When you buy what you need, you're not going to buy as much as you would if it was what you wanted. If it's based on need, I don't need a $50 million house. I don't need 10, 20 cars like Jay Leno. I don't need all of that. So when you start realizing what you need and not what you want, then and only then will you understand that when it comes down to what you need, you will save way more money than what you want. So if you're somebody that's like, okay, I'm worth 50 million and yet I just bought a $300,000 house. Somebody, an NBA player actually did that. He's worth 50 million and he bought a 300 some $1,000 house. He didn't buy no mansion. And that's the point in all of this. Y'all are sitting up here buying all this stuff that's not going with you when you pass away, when you can travel. All this stuff you're buying, you can travel. Then you turn around and sell your house. Now you're paying for another house. Your house is paid for. Why are you selling your house? You're not a real estate agent, so why are you selling your house? You go buy another house for what? You ain't a millionaire. Me personally, if I was 100 millionaire, trust and believe, I would have a house in some of the most beautiful places around the world. My money would go into building something that I could rent. I could rent it out when I'm not there and make money off of it because I'm not there. So let's say the places that I would like to stay where I can be there, number one would be Bali. No, Greece would be number one. Bali would be number two. Thailand would be number three. Japan would be number four. Jamaica would be number five. Or the Bahamas somewhere. So those 5 places just alone is where I would want to live. So if I'm there 3 months out, like, oh yeah, in Dubai. Being that Dubai gets extremely hot, I wouldn't be there during the hot season. So yeah, would I rent my apartment out? Yes. Would I be in Bali until the rainy season? Yep. Would I go to Thailand until the rainy season? Yep. So each place I would be in at least three months out the year, including the United States. So again, I could spend a year in each one of them if I wanted to. But the point that I'm trying to make is I will have multiple places that will continue to make money. Even if my child is not, being my child is autistic, I will make sure he get a check every single month. So again, if I wanted to have a house in Arizona, I could do that too. But that's because those are the places I want to live. So if you want to talk about it from that perspective, that's how healing and recovery is. healing and recovery is, number one, it's not about what I want things to be or how I want things to be. It's about what they truly are. And I accept it for what it is, and I ain't trying to change it. Even if I get a job, if I get there and these people don't like me, I ain't staying there. I'm not even going. If I know these people don't like me, why would I be trying to be somewhere where I'm not wanted? That's like somebody trying to lowball you, and this happened to me today. Somebody called me about a job, and they said it was 1950, and the other one I think was between 21 and 23. They were trying to lowball me and give me the $19 one. I said, ma'am, with all my experience, honestly, I'll take the $21 an hour one, to be honest. So there are people that have 10, 15 years of experience and are still getting paid $19 like they're an entry level employee, all because they're a new employee. See, that's the thing. If we're gonna talk about all this stuff and talk about it for what it is, even if you go to a new job, they're still going to try to lowball you like you're an entry level employee. You can have a degree, but now they're saying you have to have a certification. There was another one that called me today, and they said, "Oh, well, you haven't worked in a hospital for 5 years." I said, "Yes, I have." But because it wasn't recent, nitpicking who you're hiring. So it's not about the experience itself. Now it's how long have I been working at this job. Either it's about how much experience I have or how long I've been at each job. That part. So now you're still nitpicking. So again, when you start recovering, you're looking at all of it. You're like, okay, so the reason I don't have a job, a reason why Americans don't have a job, is because you're nitpicking. You're still nitpicking what type of employees that you want. And yet 2 or 3 months down the line, that job will be right back on Indeed. Zip Recruiter. So again, when you start recovering, you start to see things for what they are. And you're like, well, I guess it's time for me to start my own business now, ain't it? Now the next job I get when I'm not working, I'll be working on my business. And when I make $20,000 a month, I'm quitting. And that's within a 3-year span. So I get it. I trust me. I get it. But the part of recovery that people do not understand for the life of me is that you go right back to the same behavior. You go right back to doing the same thing. It's just like a lot of y'all on social media worrying about these celebrities. Guess what? These celebrities are still getting paid a paycheck. These athletes are getting paid a paycheck. These actors are getting paid a paycheck. The only difference is they're doing what they love. That is the only difference. So there's a difference between doing what you love and getting paid a paycheck and get paid more money than working somewhere that you went and got a degree and getting paid less money. So how is it that these celebrities get paid more money than you do and they get a paycheck no differently than you do and don't even have to work 40 hours a week? They getting paid. Let me break down. Let me look up something right quick. How much did the cast of Black Panther get paid? All right, let me look at this real quick. Okay. Chad Boseman got $2 million for Black Panther. And they break down how much each person got paid. So Chad Boseman, who was T'Challa, the main character, got $2 million. Michael B. Jordan that played Killmonger got $4.5 million. Letha Wright, she got paid, doesn't say. Angela Bassett got paid $350,000. So please explain to me how that's not a salary. Every movie you do, you get paid, but you don't get none of the money when it comes down to the people that go to the movie theaters. You don't get none of that money. These actors don't receive any of that money. They don't receive money off endorsements. They don't receive money off these dolls. They don't receive any promotional money. You don't see none of that money. That's just like publishing. If you are basically essentially got a book and you wrote a book and you go through a publisher, if you don't read that contract thoroughly, if your book turns into a movie, guess what? You ain't getting paid for it. You ain't getting paid for it. So you need to understand when it comes to healing and recovery, if you don't research and you don't look at the pros and cons of all of this, despite your feelings, despite what you want, you better start accepting things for what they are. Because if you don't start seeing things for what they are, then guess what? You gonna keep putting yourself in these bad positions that you do not want to be in. It's just like when they give these people in the music industry advances. Guess what? They got to pay that money back. They make their money through the concerts. That's how they make their money. They make their money through tours. They don't make their money through albums. So again, when you look at the illusion of it all, and I like to call it the siren phase of it all, it ain't nothing but an illusion. We see all these celebrities and they have, all of these nice outfits. Do you know they don't keep them outfits on the red carpet? They don't keep them outfits. Those outfits go right back. They're only wearing it for that night unless they damage it. Just like when Kim Kardashian wore that Marilyn Monroe outfit, oh, she had to give that back. So I need y'all to understand all this stuff y'all keep thinking. $50,000 for a wedding. For what? That $50,000 can go towards a house. But you so about the masses and you're so about society's standard that you can go to the Justice of the Peace, wait 10, 25 years, and then go get a wedding. Why? Because y'all been together for 25 years. You don't want to have a wedding till you've been married for 25 years. Then go have a wedding. Have a wedding when you pay everything off. Have a wedding when your kids graduate college. Do you need a wedding? No, you don't. You can go right to the Justice of Peace. You can go right overseas and get married, and just two of y'all and two of your friends go get married. You can go to Vegas, go get married. Do you really need to have your friends and family at that wedding? No, you don't. But see, you doing it because I want to tell the world that I'm married. I want to throw it in all my single homegirls' faces that I'm getting married. Y'all gonna stop playing my face at the moment. That's all that is. Because do you really need a marriage? Do you really need a wedding? No. Do you really need a $10,000-$20,000 wedding? No. Do you need a white dress? Yes. If you're gonna get engaged, just get married right in there. The question I ask a lot of women, and the one I'm doing on Friday, I am doing the one about Russell Wilson and Sierra, but I'm also gonna add to that. My question to women: you want these men to propose, and then you want them to wait another 2 or 3 years to plan a wedding? I don't understand that. If they went through all this trouble to have this elaborate engagement, we get married right then and right there. We get married right then and right there. He better have a pastor there. See, this is how this gonna work. Before we walk down that aisle, and me and him have a conversation about marriage, we're gonna put everything on the table. If he takes me to a bridal place and asks me what type of dress would I wear when I get married, That's how I know that man want to marry me. If that man takes me to a ring shop and asks me, what type of ring do you want to wear? That's how I know he's serious. Now, mind you, I'm just thinking it's gonna be an engagement. I ain't gonna think nothing else of it. But if that man takes me to the Maldives and that man turns around and proposes and has all of this elaborate stuff like a wedding, we are getting married right then and right there. We're getting married right then, right there. I ain't waiting. Or within 7 days. Within long enough to, get it. If he already got everything set up to where it looks like a wedding, we get married right then and right there. He better have a pastor sitting right there because I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting. We are getting married right then and right there. Or we may wait 2 or 3 days because we may talk about the finance part of it, and I'm okay with that. But we are getting married before we leave. Why? Because even if we ain't in front of a pastor and I decide to say my vows to that man and he says his vows, we are getting married right then and right there before God. Right then, right there. We can figure out the other semantics later. But spiritually, we going to be married. And then what we going to do when we get back, I'm not waiting. As soon as we get our finances straight and we talk about all of the finances and the prenups or whatever we need to talk about, we are getting married right after that gets settled. Because we're going to take another trip and get married. But my thing is, if we've already talked about this stuff and we've already decided what we're going to do as far as that is concerned, and we already talk about it, then what needs to happen is everything that we agreed on. Like if we go to a lawyer and we talk about if we get married, we get paperwork drawn up and we talk about the finance and we get that stuff drawn up beforehand. And then he proposes, we're getting married right then, right there. Because that's the mistake people make. You don't talk about these things as girlfriend and boyfriend about finances. Me personally, we're going to talk about it. Because if we're going to build a future, then yes, we do need to talk about that. We do need to talk about our finances. We do need to talk about joint accounts and so on and so forth. So if we go and we get a contract established that if we get married, this is how, and I call it a marriage contract. This is how our marriage is going to be. And that's what I'm going to do. That way when he proposes, we get married right then and there. I ain't got to worry about going through all that stuff. I'm not waiting. We're getting married. Right then, right there. He better have a pastor sitting right there. Because it ain't about that white. As long as he got a white dress, I don't care what dress it is. As long as it's a white dress, I will get married right then and right there. I don't have to put on a suit. He ain't got to put on no suit. I just want to get married. There was one girl, he proposed and he had the wedding dress, he had the reception, he had everything done. They did everything. She thought that the marriage was somebody else's. No, they got married right then and right there. He didn't wait. He didn't wait. For what? What are you waiting on? What you waiting on? So you're going to wait an extra 2 years because you want to have a wedding? No. We ain't getting married right then and right there. If our family is already there at that engagement, we are getting married right then, right there. Whoever ain't there, oh well. So if my parents are there, his parents are there, I come in, there's a bunch of roses sitting there, we get married right then, right there. I ain't waiting. I'm not waiting. We get married right then and right there. So to close this out, when it comes to the ups and downs of health and wellness journeys, there are many different journeys. And you are going to have ups and downs, and you are going to follow a rabbit down a rabbit hole, and you are going to end up in Wonderland, and you are going to have to deal with consequences and repercussions karma when it comes to the Queen of Hearts. If you keep going down a rabbit hole. My thing is, I'm not worrying about these other people and what they got going on, so I'm not chasing behind a rabbit. If you do not add to my life and you subtract from my life, I can't deal with you. You got to go. If you cheating, I don't care why you cheated. I'm still not going to be with you. I'm not doing the excuses. You did it because you wanted to. You did it because you had room and opportunity to do it. That's why you did it. You didn't think about me. You didn't care about me. You did it because the girl let you do it. You did it because you wanted to. And you did it because nobody was there to stop you. And then turn around and look me in the face after what you did and act like it's not. Absolutely not. No. So I need y'all to understand that when it comes down to healing and recovery, it's going to seem like you mean. It's going to seem like you are just no nonsense. I ain't got time for this nonsense. I done been here. I done that. I am no longer crying about nothing. And if I cry, that's because I wasted time. I ain't got time at this point. I am 51 years old. I do not have time to waste. Literally, I don't. Because I get out of bed, I be in pain. Just like today, I laid in bed, I got up, still was not productive. I'm productive because I'm doing this. But I'm like, I'm sitting on social media strolling. I'm like, you know what? I ain't even being productive. And every time I say I'm going to put my phone down, I'm not going to pick up social media, I pick it up. I said, I'm going to go ahead and order this stuff for the juice and stuff. I still ain't ordered it yet because I keep worrying about money. But then I got to realize, that's what I'm saying. This is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. When you second guess yourself. Because you're worried about what may happen. Yeah, it may happen, but it may not. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger on everything that I want. Stuff for the trip because I'm about to go on a cruise, and I might just get the basic things that I need. I found another book. So I made some what did I make? I made some baked macaroni and cheese with some spinach, turkey meat, and some wheat noodles. So again, your health and wellness should be the most important thing that you think about as far as who you bring into your world, as far as your decisions, your choices, your actions, and behavior. When it comes down to your critical thinking, common sense, and common judgment, your morals, your values, your principles, and ethics, and weighing the pros and cons and researching everything. Do not sit up here and not research everything. Do not make a decision based on your emotions. Make a decision based on how it's going to not only impact your health and wellness, but how it impacts everything that's going to help your health and wellness financially. You ain't got time to sit up here and lower yourself for some controlling people that have insecurity issues. You don't have time to be a build-a-bear and build a bunch of people that don't want to be built, that basically are lazy and irresponsible. You can't continue to be Captain Save-A-Hoe and trying to make a hoe into a housewife or a house husband. You don't have time to sit up here and continue to try to get your mama and them to love you when they're just not going to do it. You cannot continue to be like, woe is me, this happened to me, expecting your mom and them to apologize, and they're just never going to do that. You can't continue to try to get your parents to look at you when they have a golden child. You can't continue to be the person paying all the bills for a bunch of people that basically essentially ain't going to do nothing but never pay you back. You cannot continue to jump when people say how high. You can't continue to be a people pleaser and trying to please everybody, and you're being miserable. You're being abused. You're losing everything because of it. And you cannot continue to be a seat filler waiting to see if this person's going to change waiting to see if this person gonna do right by you, chasing behind somebody who don't want you in the first place. You don't have time for that. You don't have time to sit up here and continue taking jobs where you can barely pay your bills with one income. Because you can't. The bottom line is recovery is about maintaining it. You don't have time to keep getting your heart broken over and over and over again. You don't have time to keep putting stuff in your name and your credit being messed up. You don't have time to sit up here and continue trying to get your mama to see you when she's never going to see you. You don't have time to sit up here and say, all I want you to do is just get to know me. If they say no, okay, cool. You don't have time when somebody says something negative to sit down and argue with these people. No, you say, you know what? You have a good day. I rebuke negativity, back and what it came, walk off. That's it. You ain't got time to explain yourself. You ain't got time to get mad. You ain't got time to retaliate for what? Unless they put their hands on you, that person cannot have power over you unless you give them that. If you give them that power, then yes, they will absolutely take advantage of that. No. Do you have to say yes to everything? No, you don't. And even though it may sound like you being mean, even though people may not understand, and the first thing they say is, well, family helps family. First of all, where have any of y'all been at? And all these family members calling you talking about, well, you need to help. Why don't y'all do it? Ask the golden child whose mom and dad have been taking care of her the whole entire time. They almost in debt because of her. Let her do it. Let her do it. You can't keep being the person that every time somebody want to borrow money, they never pay you back your money. Because, honey, when you look at all the blessings that you miss out on, because every blessing you get, here come these negative people. Every time you get something, here comes somebody trying to leech off you. That's why you can't tell people when you get blessings. That's why you can't be on social media with your spouse. You can't. That's why sometimes you need to tell your spouse, look, I need you to act like we broke. I need you to act like you ain't got no money. If you ask me how my husband is in bed, oh, he sucks. You still with him? Yeah, because he good and everything else. Or I just don't want to talk about it. I probably would be married and my mom and them would never, I probably would get married, not say nothing to my parents about it, and wait 2 years. And they're thinking we've been together for 2 years, we've been married for 2 years. Been together for 2, been together for 4. I've been with this person for 4 years, married for 2, and my mom and them wouldn't even know nothing about it. Why? Because it ain't about everybody else. It's about me and that person. And I think that's the best way to do it. Don't say nothing. If you with somebody and they have insecurity issues and they can't accept the fact that you thriving, leave them where they're at. If you with somebody that's not allowing you to be you, let them leave them where they're at. Leave them alone. At the end of the day, you deserve better. You should not be running around here sitting up here worrying about these wrong people. Okay? Just like. So when it comes to healing and recovery and it comes to your health and wellness, every choice, every decision, every action, every behavior that you do impacts and affects you physically. So it don't matter if you work out. It don't matter if somebody putting their hands on you, then you're not healthy. If you can't make mental decisions and you keep going through depression, then guess what? You're not healthy. If you have cancer, leukemia, if you have any illness and disease, you're not healthy. If you're not psychologically healthy, then you're not healthy. Health and wellness is not just about losing weight. Every part of you got to be healthy. Financially, you got to be healthy. Your relationships got to be healthy. Mentally, you got to be healthy. Psychologically, you got to be healthy. Emotionally, you got to be healthy. Spiritually, you got to be healthy. You got to be healthy internally and externally, health and wellness wise. Also, your environment plays a part of it. So it is not just about all of what y'all think it is. It's the whole aspect of it. Before you work on your spiritual health, you need mean your mental, mean your physical health. You need to work on your mental and psychological health first. You need to work on your spiritual health first. And you need to be alone and not with anybody that don't know you. Anybody that know you does not need to be on these journeys with you. You need to deal with people who don't know you. People who gonna push you. Because them people that know you are going to enable you. You will be going through these journeys alone. For those of y'all who do not understand this, you will be alone on these journeys. Every single person in the Bible was alone for 40 days or 40 years. So I don't know why y'all believing that being alone is this terrible thing. No, you are alone for a reason. To be one with the higher power. So the higher power can guide you on how to be better and how to get back in this world and be able to maintain your health and wellness, your success, and everything you got, including your marriage. That's why you alone. You alone to see what you can do by yourself. So that way when you go back out in the world, you know what you need. And you need nothing else. You can go out in the world and somebody can say something negative to you, you ain't paying no attention. The only thing you worried about is something physically happens to you. Like if you, I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. We was at Wendy's, me and my mama, and then I'm gonna end the one on YouTube and Facebook. We were in the car in Wendy's when I went home recently, and we were getting something to eat. And this car we were at the light, and the light was red. This car ran through the light, speeding, hit somebody's car. And you literally can hear it. Boom! Like, ooh. I said, ain't you glad we was at the stoplight? My mom, before she turns, she'll sit there for a couple seconds. And I said, Mama, why are you sitting here? She said, sweetheart, there are people out here that are drunken drivers. You need to make sure that, you don't just pull out. And I agree. That's how some people end up in accidents, because you'll be trying to do a U-turn. Somebody's coming out and y'all end up hitting each other. I wait until I can see before I turn, because if I can't see past another car, I ain't turning. I've also determined when the best time to go out and when the best time to stay behind at the house. If I don't want to go on the highway, I'll take an Uber, because I'm not going to go on the highway, because I ain't ready for that right now. Because if I have a panic attack, I'm not going to be, where I live at, you can't pull over in certain places, certain spots, so you have to stay in that traffic, and that ain't good. So if it was like at home where you could pull over, I would pull over. But if I can't pull over, that would not be good for me. But what I will say is find who you are by being away from everybody. Figure out who you are, figure out who you want to be, become that person, then step out. Step into the world when you are confident, where there's not a bit more of a word of mouth that can get you like that. You're not disappointed. None of that. That's how you know. When somebody can say something negative, you won't even have a reaction. You just look at them and just bust out laughing and keep on walking. The one thing I've learned about negative people before I cancel this is that negative people, if you don't give them the reaction that they want, they get mad. Why? Because you're not giving them the reaction that they want. And because you're not giving them the reaction that they want, they get mad. That's why. So with that being said, to conclude this, health and wellness is a lot more broad than what y'all think it is. Recovery and healing is way more broad than what you It's not just about going to therapy, sitting up there talking. Nope. There needs to be goals that you need to do. And that's where coaches come in. Because coaches do both. We don't just sit here and listen to y'all talk. We also give you assignments. We give you things to do. We give you, you know, we basically push you to be better, to get better. Because now all these therapists are doing is giving y'all a bunch of medications, but they're not really giving y'all goals of things you need to do. So with that being said, I just wanted to come on here real quick and just do that. But if y'all want one-on-one coaching, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, if you like the commentary and this commentary gives you inspiration, please email me at asha.mariama01@gmail.com. It's asha.mariama01@gmail.com. If you want to sponsor my channel, you can do that as well. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button to receive notifications of my videos. There will be some guests on the podcast that I will be having on the podcast very soon. I'm not going to say who just yet because we haven't set dates yet. But as soon as I set the dates, I will let y'all know who is going to be coming on the podcast. But there is a couple of them I'm really excited about because we'll be talking about a lot of topics that's going to hit home. There's one, I talked to somebody yesterday, and I am really excited about doing this with her because she and I have the same background and we went through the same things. And this is going to be a real personal episode. And this episode, we will be talking about not only childhood trauma, but how you turn trauma into triumph, how you turn negative situations into a strength, not into positive, into a strength. You can't turn negative positive, but you can turn it into a strength. You can learn from it, you can grow from it, you can evolve from it, you can elevate from it. So I'm really excited about doing this particular because she's also a coach. So this is definitely going to be very, very interesting. And when we were talking, I learned a lot from her. But yeah, I can't wait to do that conversation. I'll also be having a conversation with a doctor that I'm meeting with two doctors tomorrow. And one I'll be talking to tomorrow. And then the other one I'll be talking to on Friday. So I'm excited. And then I have some other people that will be scheduling to actually do the podcast. And I'm excited about that. So I'm really excited. My podcast is expanding. I am trying to be the next Jay Shetty. I do want to get a studio where I can have, people come in. I do want to basically have conversations with celebrities about healing and recovery and addiction. So there are a lot of people, a long list of people I would like to have a conversation with. But I would like to build my channel. As for YouTube, I'm trying to put some content because eventually I'm gonna have a website, and those celebrity conversations will not be on social media. They'll be on my website because I feel like that I want to do something that my clients get to see it first. That's specifically for them, and the people that got memberships, I want to do that first. So that's just something that I'm thinking about. But if I do it, it will only be like a small percentage of it. And there's a reason why, and I'm going to explain in a second. But for those of y'all on my YouTube channel and my other channels, I want to thank y'all for joining me for this episode. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Without y'all, there is no me. I would be nothing without y'all. And with that being said, I will see you guys next week where we'll continue this conversation about health and wellness. And until next time, we will talk later. Bye, y'all.